It's November 8th.
November 8th, happy Death Stranding Day.
Fuck yeah.
Forever celebrated henceforth on the 8th of November.
Remember. The 8th of November.
Fuck, we're assholes, eh? Blasphemous traitors, assholes.
All kinds of things.
Well, what are you drinking there, first of all? Drinking a cherry cider.
A cherry cider, yeah.
All right, how do you like that?
Honestly, it tastes like an apple cider to me.
Yeah. Yeah, that's. That was my impression of that one as well.
Yeah, it's like
it was.
Yeah.
I also had one from Collective Arts, which did have a slight cherry taste. But even with the cherry beers I tried, it's fucking hard to capture the cherry.
Yeah, I think it's a difficult taste to kind of.
Yeah, I think so. Especially in an apple.
Yeah.
But I'm drinking something called Mara from Blood Brothers that I just got in today. It's
nice.
Bourbon barrel aged peanut stout, 9.5% alcohol.
Yeah.
Tastes like peanut butter to me. Peanut butter and bourbon.
In fact, I don't like it because of that.
Yeah. Well,
but
I understand, though.
But it's impressive.
Like it. Yeah.
It's impressive.
It's delicious. I tried like a bunch of different peanut butter ones this year, and this is like straight up the
best one.
It's not even supposed to be a peanut butter one, but it's peanuts. Wow, it's good. Never would have thought that would make a good combination, but here we are again.
I still don't think that, but I'm glad you do.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Cheers.
Happy Death Stranding Day, yeah.
Fucking yeah, it's finally here. I can't believe it. Hideo Kojima in all of his glory, all of his infinite wisdom.
I think, like, you can't approach this like people are approaching this as though they think like, you're evaluating the work based on like its supposed profundity, like on what it has to say. I think profundity.
You think so? Because that's
what they say, right? They think he's trying to be like smart and make clever metaphors and like put forward something that's really just an obvious thing at the end of the day. When
just is what it is.
I think when you approach something like as though its value is in whatever message it has to say, then you're starting from like an almost Soviet-esque fucking appreciation of the subject matter, which will only take you to darker places than I care to describe right now. But whether or not it has some weird academic like point to communicate to the rest of us peasants is not really the point, right? Like, I think when people compare it to things like Gravity's Rainbow and fucking those Tarkovsky movies, they mean more than anything else in its texture, Got to give credit where it's due, this Tim Rogers guy, I think his name is, from Kotaku. He made this hour-long, like, kind of like farcical video about Death Stranding. But he liked it a lot, but he was like, yes, it's making all these comparisons that were pretty apt, actually, but like doing this funny shit where he like strapped his groceries to his back, piled up high, and he like went around like it was pretty ridiculous. And he made a lot of comparisons and rather he pointed out a lot of references that the game makes to other text that Kojima was inspired by.
And you could probably go on forever.
Yeah, it was super interesting. Yeah,
name the stuff that Kojima draws off of, and even makes it obvious at certain points. Right? He sort of inserts a lot of that kind of pop culture.
Definitely, yeah. The man watches a lot of movies. You can definitely tell.
Oh yeah.
Played a lot of other games too. Yeah, I think the most prominent influence to me, at least aesthetically, is the recent Alien movies, Prometheus and Alien Covenant, and like all of the tech and the colors and even like the black goop and the monsters. Like,
it's funny because this is one of the most like original, probably unique games I've ever played, especially like gameplay wise.
I think it just goes to show though uniqueness, like how people were saying like Days Gone is just Walking Dead and this and that like mixed together, and it's like everything is always something that already exists mixed together. Anything coming out of your mind is always like that's not really a profound observation.
Inspiration
you think that's being deep, but at the end of the day, like that's not really a mark against it, right? Like it exhibits like what those doofy professors would probably call intertextual. Like intertextual aptitude. Like he watches a lot of shit and he's able to use it like paint in a painting to make something of his own. That's all well and good, but I think back to this issue of whether or not it's is good or bad based on its profundity, whatever that happens to mean. I think firstly there's no such thing as a barometer of profundity.
No. How do you measure that?
I think, my suspicion, and I doubt it would be very difficult to confirm, is that people are disappointed it doesn't have a very particular kind of social message to communicate when they say that it's not very deep or they say it doesn't have blah, blah, blah.
It's very possible.
Secondly,
wouldn't be the first time in the media.
It wouldn't be. Secondly, though, art doesn't state things. As a great author, Flannery O'Connor, she once said, it just is a thing, right? Like it's there to be beautiful. It's there to be like a concretized form for you to appreciate and take intellectual joy in, like the way you feel when you look at like fucking a beautiful painting, right? Your child. You know?
Yeah.
Not like an animal. It's still an intellectual movement, but it's not the same as when you're thinking about math. Like,
that makes sense.
I argue that these guys are looking for like a mathematical sort of thesis.
Yeah.
When that's not the point of anything anyways, you know? Whether it's profound or not is really aside the point. Stylistically, though, it captures what it's supposed to, and it's beautiful, right? You can't really argue about anything else. Even the absurdity and the laughable dialogue, is to me, I fucking like.
I love that. I appreciate it so much because that's like a staple of Kojima. Like, you're in for something wild, no matter what. Is
this guy really called Die Hard Man? Is that a thing?
The guy with the mask in the game. I guess, yeah. And they just talk to him.
What are you?
That's his name.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, it just makes me think. Like,
Dead Man is Guillermo del Toro's character. I think his name is Dead Man.
Dead Man, yeah, Dead Man.
Just like
but Die Hard Man is like the name of a movie with man.
No, I know, yeah.
Like, that's just like it. You know, these like simple words maybe I can understand, but like just throwing in like it's so unabashedly like loaded with like pop cultural references, which I think also. Is what bothers people, you know. They're like, it's broken up with like advertisements of Norman Reedus' biker show, like Monster Energy drink. Blah. It's like the same guys complaining that Final Fantasy was ruined by cup noodles, and like, I think objectively none of those things really mean anything. Whether or not you particularly like them, personally, I definitely do. It's like little fucking.
I don't know. I'm indifferent to it. I saw them and I just didn't like whatever monsters in the game.
I think it's hilarious. It's definitely weird. It fits perfectly with the absurdity of the game. What the fuck?
Yeah,
Norman Reedus' diet is exclusively like time slugs and energy drinks. And on the back of the cans, you could probably even zoom in and read it in his room. It says drink one a day. Norman Reedus can sit there and just slam back like
smash the
I guess he's immortal, so even if he has a stroke, it won't be.
He can't have a stroke.
Yeah, he can't have a stroke.
Guy dies and comes back like it's nothing.
Won't he explode though if he drinks? There's a real risk in that world of consuming Monster Energy drinks with alcohol, because then
so Kojima for this game to just be so totally fucked.
Yeah, it's
at the end of the day. Like, if you played any Metal Gear Solid game, it has that serious tone in like a realistic setting, but then things just go off the rails, even sometimes from the start. Like, it's unexplainable, right? But it's set in like a world that could be real. It's just it's that weird like you said, the absurdity, right? It's fucking amazing.
But it's this Tim Rogers guy said there's like this David Lynchian frankness to it, like this straightforwardness, this like this honesty about the craziness. It's not like in any sense, I don't think, attempting to be profound or academic, you know? It's just what the hell do you call it? I actually can't even muster words to describe the flavor
just
of the dialogue, but like
normal all the absurd shit seems like. What
I think like the prose has a confidence to it, you know. It's another thing in the Kotaku review. He says he likes things that are confident in their own texture. And I think like, you know, to extrapolate on that idea, it definitely exhibits that quality of like consistency and confidence in its writing. Like, it's like if you read fucking, you know, this book called Blood Meridian, this Cormac McCarthy book, like the writing is like in proper English, there's no periods and shit, and he uses a lot of slang, like very much in the spirit and voice of the book, right? And I think Kojima's doing the same kind of thing anyways.
In a video game sense, though?
Yeah, I mean, even in terms of the actual writing in the video game.
Oh, okay.
You know, and the words and, like, the fact that the words are, like, weird. They have a texture to them. You know, it's almost like magic. It makes you feel, like, alienated from fucking your normal life and the day-to-day reality, right? Like, I think it's very much, you know, it makes me fucking laugh. And it's, like, just straight up in a way that is endearing. What else can you say? It's fun to sit back and be like, the fuck is this?
I've definitely been enjoying it so far. I know some of the criticism has been because a lot of the gameplay sort of involves just walking and traversing through, you know, spaces, and which isn't even too much criticism because the game's still got good reviews, right? It was received well, but
it did, it was received very well.
It just sort of became that like internet butt joke about it being a walking simulator, right? Because a lot of the gameplay does involve you sort of traversing through the like big map, right? Empty open world, and delivering packages, right? With the premise of those packages being, you know, materials and things that are needed to sort of rebuild America, right? And,
I feel you.
But
I hate to fawn over this fucking Kotaku review, but I thought it was amazing. Another thing he says is that if this is a walking simulator, it's the Gran Turismo of walking simulators.
Exactly, right? Like
it's the most walking of walking simulators, where combat is a walking exercise.
Seriously.
The main loop is walking, and the whole thing is centered around. It's like the Hank Hill of walking and walking accessories. You know?
That's amazing.
It's just, yeah, it's
Yeah, I mean, like, I can't say that, this game would be for. I guess I could see a lot of people maybe not digging it because there's not a lot of action in that sense. Like, I can see that, but not that it makes it a bad game at all.
hey man, nothing's for everybody. It's okay.
And it goes back to that,
It's
right? All the
perfectly
time.
fine,
That
yeah.
at the end of the day, nothing's for everybody. But it does things that I haven't seen any other game do,
me
right?
too.
Like,
I feel like the
it's
mechanics
fucking
are all
out there.
they resemble everything that we've tried before. Of course, it's a third-person
Yeah.
game. There's balancing elements that they've mapped to the triggers that we've seen before in games that
like
involve,
Uncharted and stuff.
sure,
They've had like little snippets of that.
but it's like overall direction of these parts towards a concept that's original, right? Like this
Yeah.
idea of a game is not something that we've really seen too much of before.
No, and just from that video we were watching in the interview with him, sort of speaking about how he's kind of trying to do something different, sort of create like a new genre,
Yeah.
sort of a new type of experience. I think more of that has to do with the way the world connects with other players, though, and how it's kind of like you dropping a ladder here or putting a rope here and then using it, and then somebody else building a bridge and it appears in your game to use. It's like that experience of people coming together so that like in the game it's one person doing all this shit, but really behind the scenes there's fucking millions of people actually contributing to the overall.
That is very cool.
It is different. I can't really think of a game I've seen firsthand that sort of, aside from like Dark Souls where you leave notes for other players.
Yeah,
but this is like
the
a
online
huge
integration
expansion
is for sure, yeah.
of that, right?
But I think even in terms of the individual components maybe we have seen before are inspired by something that's come before, just as the aesthetic elements, you know?
Yeah.
But the experience of playing the game, like the loop, what you're trying to accomplish, I guess, is not something that's very common in a game, Not
No,
ever, really.
I
right?
don't
Like,
think so.
I think there's something audacious about it, There's an audacity to it, like somebody saying, like, yeah, I'm just going to make a game about, like, getting from point A to point B. And, like, somehow finding ways to make that interesting and even making combat encounters about that or getting in your way while you're trying to get somewhere, right? Like, that's super cool.
I feel like nobody would try this.
Yeah.
Like aside from him.
Probably nobody would ever green light such a project. That's why.
Yeah, that too.
Very few people, I guess, now, have that kind of like
any
clout.
AAA game you make is a risk. This is like just amplified on the risk factor, right?
I think though, like the thing with first party titles, or even exclusives like this, even to have it for a year as an exclusive, is that it's like good for your brand. It causes people to come to your ecosystem.
Yeah,
more
more
than
experiences,
anything else.
the better. At the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
There's more.
No doubt it'll sell
there.
well, but even if it didn't, like the point is for it to be like on their resume more than anything else, I would think, right?
It is coming out on PC next year, right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Which is kind of a surprise. That came out of nowhere, but I mean,
But I don't think that's really like a competition between PC and.
No, it's
not
sort
there.
of just in this day and age.
Just like every Microsoft exclusive will always be on PC now too, right?
Yeah.
Just to be expected. Like,
I mean, the games nowadays, like because the consoles are basically small PCs,
it's a tech-focused option at the expense of slight convenience.
It's easy for them to do it, right?
Yeah.
A lot easier than it would have been in the past.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm definitely enjoying the game so far. I even like the world building and like the kind of stuff that's going on, the way it treats like Egyptian ideas about the afterlife with like a super serious face, just like everything else. It's like,
Kojima's a fucking artist, man. He
Yeah.
knows to craft something.
it's like
up and
it's like
cool
a
at
drug
the same
trip.
time.
There's all these Hollywood celebrities popping up,
Yeah.
and you're like, the fuck is going on in this game? I love that feeling.
Some of like the camera work and the cutscenes, shit like
Yeah.
that. It's just
it also
you
has
don't
like
see it
it
in
has
a
a
video game.
cinematic quality that
Yeah.
in most games you don't see. Yeah.
yeah.
I think of the recent God of War, whatever else you may think about some of its themes, like I definitely appreciate that aspect that it was technically competent. It had great cinematography, right? That game is
Oh yeah. The intro was epic, man.
Yeah.
It was like balls to the wall. Now I've kind of settled into that sort of gameplay loop of delivering packages and shit, but even that, it doesn't stay like, it's not like monotonous or anything. Like you get into areas where the BTs, which are the enemies in the game, start to come up, and they're all pretty much invisible. You can only really sense them, and the game does a good job of making you feel like you're sensing them as opposed to seeing them.
Even
with,
when
like,
you get the BB
controller.
there and you can like flash them and they appear, but only briefly, and then
Yeah, they sort of they barely appear like in the sky around you.
I did always find it like fucking a tenuous exercise, like attempting to, get past them. Like I wasn't quite sure like how close I could get.
Yeah.
Your only real indicator is that thing spinning on your shoulder. Telling you exactly where they are.
Sometimes you notice it actually like points like in the direction where they are. Like
that is the closest
very
one.
Aggressively,
it always points towards the closest one. So that's where you gotta like always try and avoid it.
And it's pretty hard to just book it. Like to just run through them, because then the black stuff on the floor sludge starts to come in, and then it slows you down, and then they start grabbing you. They know where you are.
And then you're treated to like some fucking horrifying Lovecraftian like scene
Cthulhu
where
monster whale
crazy shit like out of nowhere all this black stuff floods the screen. Like I was climbing a mountain, and out of nowhere between the mountain peaks it was just gushing with black water, and I couldn't
sludgy
I couldn't walk through it.
It grabs you and throws you through.
Fucking
slides you through the sludge and brings
that
you
giant
to like a
whale
monster.
thing. What is that? I'm excited to find out. What else can you say?
I'm sure
Kojima
down.
knows somewhere like what the hell those things are, and that he literally goes out of his way to state and restate every detail of the world. So
I can't wait to see what how this unravels, right? How it's totally fucked,
and how that giant like black BT with the gold mask at the beginning of the when the
I saw that in one of the trailers. Right?
That car, his buddies, Sam's out to dispose of that body, and the car gets wrecked, and then he sees
appears
that giant,
and points. Yeah. Like, is there bosses? We don't even know, because we're not.
I think those, the whale thing and a few other ones, are the equivalent of bosses.
Yeah. But like, you don't have to kill them. I killed the whale, but they come back anyway. So.
Yeah, there's more of them. I think they're like a different category of entities. But I think there's also fights against human characters in that faction that I've barely even, all I know is they've kidnapped the president's daughter so far.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one encounter I had with them felt like very Metal Gear Solid. You just kind of stealth your way towards them, take them down silently. It was cool. It's
going to turn out that Sam is definitely like the most important person in the world after all, because his mom is the president, and he has that BB is like the fucking the one that was somehow like integral to the whole shit that went down.
How does Mads Mikkelsen's character fit in?
He's the guy that instigated the whole shit.
Oh yeah,
I'm pretty sure that's how it's gonna pan out. Yeah, because you remember when you hook it up and you see the flashbacks.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that's what it's leading to.
Fucked up, eh?
Yeah. Because that was his son, perhaps, Mads Mikkelsen.
He is the father of BB, your little baby companion.
Yeah.
That's probably one of the fucking most fucked up things about this game.
I find that the game has this like incredible, contrast. Like, I think it goes out of its way to make you notice, when you're like, transporting a package. After you drop it off and you got to go home, you feel so light, and you can jump really high. You can jump over rivers, and nothing gets in your way.
Yeah, the terrain doesn't matter as much. You just run through it all.
The music starts up, and you have to, rock the BB after some monsters like chase you and shit. Yeah. And the music's playing, and you just relax, and it feels really good. You can just enjoy the walk home.
Yeah, it kind of does have that sort of.
Yeah, it's a catharsis. You're like, it's fucking nice. Yeah. Nice. All you're doing is walking. And I keep I got this Far Cry instinct where I'm like, holy shit, is there stuff around? And sometimes
you want to pick it all up, and then you end up fucking yourself.
You can't really pick up more than one or two, otherwise you're. So I like that.
You get too encumbered.
And at the end of the day, the only real benefit is resources that I don't think are that important to the core loop.
You recycle them, and it's all like optional stuff. You can use them to build bridges.
I guess that's how you would have to farm the resources to do massive building projects and shit. Yeah.
I wonder how the game worked when the embargo lifted right away for reviewers who played it. Let's say day one on 1st of November or whatever it was when the embargo lifted, because none of that stuff was there. So apparently, wouldn't the game have been harder?
Apparently, they were playing with each other at least.
Yeah, I mean, but still, if you think about it, even if there's fucking at most, a couple hundred sites or whatever, 1,000 people.
They probably dumped them all into a review server or something like that.
You think so? It kind of populated quickly. Yeah, everything was online this morning, and there's already stuff done, of course.
Sure.
It's nice to see when you're running around, you see a rope or a ladder somebody else placed, and you're like, oh, cool, I think you like it, and
it is nice.
You go, right?
I love the sensation of just existing in that world. You're sitting there on it's a landscape out of Prometheus. There's sparse vegetation, but it's inhospitable, and you're just there alone, walking. There's a solitude to it. It's beautiful. What else do you say?
Did you ever notice that if you let go of the controller, like don't do anything. After a while, he'll sit down. You can like meditate and shit. Did you see that?
Yeah, you can hold circle too, and he'll sit down.
Yeah.
He'll fall asleep if you leave the controller too long. Yeah. And then it'll say
Fucking
rested,
Sam.
I think. Yeah.
Sam Porter Bridges.
Yeah. I love just sitting there chugging energy drinks and
Yeah, right.
you know,
Fucking
looking at toys.
weird game.
Yeah, it's so weird. I love when the Del Toro's character comes in there and fucking says some random.
Yeah.
His character's the most absurd. He's like, Sam.
Yeah.
It's like, what the hell are you talking
Sam,
about,
we
bro?
tested your blood. Okay.
And that other guy wants to collect your piss and stuff. It's like, all right, man, whatever.
The game is such a trip.
Norman Reedus is always just, he looks so unenthused. He's like, fuck, these guys are so stupid. Yeah.
It's like if we fucking put you through the fucking.
Yeah.
It's like I don't want to do any of this
He's
shit.
the president's son, though, man.
Yeah.
Die hard, man.
Like, I don't think. I know what Kojima was saying about like trying to, maybe not trying to necessarily, but thinking that this could be a new genre. And I see what he's saying. Like, I believe that it could be, but I don't see any developer going after this kind of thing and trying to make one. Like, I'm not saying it's impossible and that no one ever will do it. I just don't see it.
I guess there's been some third-person action games that tend away from combat to the same extent as this one, but in another sense, like I think perhaps too grandiose a claim to say it establishes a new, like if by new genre we mean like something that's not focused on combat as much as it is on traversal.
I mean, even Uncharted was kind of like that, although it had like bigger chunks of gameplay, but there were also like pretty significant chunks of just traversing, climbing, right, shit like that.
That's
a lot
true,
of Breath of the Wild was empty.
This is much more free form,
you know.
Those are like puzzle levels. This is probably the first time like Breath of the Wild. See, even Breath of the Wild, I would say
it definitely has more combat.
It has more combat, but like the way that the climbing and stuff like that, you could climb anything, so it was easier for them to like. This world is, I guess, feels more like there are features that are and are not climbable. You can interact with them in a certain way based on what they are. Like, I like that.
More about plotting your route and sort of.
It's a great sensation. I like how that's a core element of the loop. You sit there and you look at your map and you're like,
you have to.
Way.
I've fucked myself on numerous occasions, like walking all the way into a dead end with mountains around me. You can't climb them, so you either fucking turn around and walk back or just reload your save and go around it from the start, right?
Yeah.
I had to do that a few times because I wasn't paying attention to it, right? But part of the planning is pretty important, I think.
Yeah, it's a great game. I think so far. I'm pretty sure my sensation will remain the same. Like, I'm fascinated more than anything else with the universe and the way that it expresses itself in the gameplay.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to how it's gonna unfold. I have no idea. I couldn't even guess to say like where it's gonna go, what's gonna happen. Like
I think.
I guess I wonder if it could get somewhat boring, but it depends on how it goes.
I guess
I mean, any game
you get a little bit bored with, even the best ones.
Yeah, exactly.
It has to like just keep up its momentum until it's
hopefully can wrap it up before being like, okay, I'm done. Fuck this.
I think it's also important though on the part of the player to
that's true.
It's like reading any complicated beefy novel. Like, you just fucking gotta keep on trucking, man. What do you do?
If someone's sole intent is to go in and just shoot shit, they're just gonna play Call of Duty.
This is even a game that involves very much,
Is there guns? I haven't gone. There's guns, right? Okay.
But it's a game about doing hard things, that need doing.
Yeah.
And Kojima's the kind of guy that probably thinks like playing his game is such a thing.
What a weird guy, man.
Yeah, he's a weird guy.
I'm kind of sad that we may never see a Metal Gear Solid game again.
I guess so. I'm kind of more pleased with something like this, though. Frankly,
but that's
if I had
the
to
thing,
choose
right?
like a new IP or Metal Gear, like easy, I would choose.
Yeah, that's fair.
Probably he would
say,
too.
right?
He's like,
he definitely would.
Yeah.
Or else he could have just made a reskin Metal Gear Solid and called it a fucking day, right? He had the opportunity.
I think, like, again, we can leave aside the question of whether or not he's a smart guy. I don't know what he believes, like what his philosophy is or his politic, but like what he does have is a keen artistic habit. He's good at building worlds. Almost Tolkien, the same way Tolkien drew on mythology. Kojima's drawing on like pop culture and cinematic references to build a universe that is at least worth checking out.
Oh, I would say.
However you feel about the particularities of the gameplay, like at least we can admit the gameplay is an apt expression of the world that he has built.
Exactly. Yeah.
He said in that interview we were watching before that he started with this concept and then he went on to determine the game design.
Yeah, and create the characters around it and how it all fits together, right?
concept of connecting people and the vague mechanics associated with it, and then building it. Yeah, I like that approach to game design. It's not something you get very often, where, you know, other people's decisions are involved in what you build, right?
Yeah.
And frankly, not many people in the world get that kind of blank check, you know? Strange combination of luck and talent to get you there.
Fuck, for
and
real.
most people will never know. So good for you, pal.
Absolutely not. Yeah, and to make something like
through
this.
Kojima,
Yeah.
like, fuck. That's what anybody who's ever had a dream is probably feeling, you know, when
Right?
they see something like this succeed.
Oh,
It's something probably the journalists hate when the people, I mean to say, not the journalists probably in this case, but like the people who didn't like it and who, you know, as some people are saying, like they dislike Kojima's clout and like his sort of celebrity status in the industry, like, you know, for whatever reason, political or otherwise. Like, I think at the end of the day, how can you not like rejoice in somebody having that kind of, you know, that's anybody's dream, right? Like, I mean, anybody who's ever played a video game before and aspired to like have an idea, like that's what you would want to do. He has no programming experience. That's not his job. He's the idea guy.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah, he doesn't. I don't think he knows fuck all about coding and stuff.
I don't know.
Like he doesn't. I'm pretty sure he doesn't.
Pretty sure he doesn't.
And if you follow like the story of like the downfall between him and Konami, to see like them basically, I mean, they own Metal Gear Solid, and that's pretty much his baby, right? To see, you know, how that fucking turned out for him, not great, because he had to leave Konami. Whatever happened, whatever. But I guess what I'm trying to say is, to see him go from that probably was not a good situation, you know, really bad fucking, and then to be able to turn around, partner up with Sony, and sort of create his own, like you were saying, his own fucking thing, right? His own studio, have you know, another shot and a chance to make, because Konami wouldn't have fucking greenlit this game at the end of the day, if you even wanted to make it at that time, right? Like if he had this idea and he brought it to Konami, they would have been like, dude.
Yeah.
And then further, you know, to the point that they fucking hated each other at some point, they definitely wouldn't have been. They would have been like, fuck you. So to see him basically pull out of that and into this, right, and create something like that, I'd be fucking proud of myself. Fuck that.
There's this fucking idea that, you know, good art is gratuitous, like that it exists for its own sake. Like, gratuitous means, you know, beyond any necessity. Like, it doesn't exist to serve some demographic that, you know, wanted or even came close to needing it, especially in this case, right? But the idea is that it exists for itself. And it's certainly something that, like, you know, by design and even by, like, the admittance of all parties involved, this game is, you know, which...
Yeah, it screams that,
I think just, you know... everything else aside, it's worth checking out for that reason. Very rarely see things with this, like...
If you have the attention span of a fucking 2-year-old or a goldfish and you need to be shooting within 5 minutes of starting a game, then don't even bother. But
I guess
if you can open your fucking mind and appreciate something totally fucking wild and insane, you'll have a fucking good time. Like, we were sitting there watching the intro and playing through the first segments, and we were like, wow, like blown away, right?
There's
so
like
cool.
an absurdity to it, man.
Yeah.
Like it's like magical realism. You're like, one moment you're fucking watching some terrifying shit, and the next moment there's like poop jokes. You're like,
you got a piss, turn around, Norman Reed is pissing
Monster
on her.
Energy drinks. I'm like, what the fuck?
It's definitely the weirdest thing. I love his character, Guillermo del Toro.
He walks around like
Sam.
my 1-year-old son, and he has my 1-year-old son has a belly too, and he walks like this.
Yeah.
That's what he walks like. Yeah. It's ridiculous.
Oh, his character's great.
Yeah. It's good times. It's really funny. I just can't wait to see what else the world has to offer. Yeah, I was writing down some of the concepts and words that I encountered, and I wanted to ask you if you could explain any of them to me, because I wasn't too sure about some of their meaning, especially dooms. What the fuck is dooms?
I don't know what dooms is.
Like,
I still haven't picked up on that.
Does that make you a repatriate?
I think it said, remember there was like text in the beginning saying people with a certain sign, like one of the, what are those things called?
Yeah. They'll have different dooms. You're celestial, fucking. You're.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What the fuck's the word?
I don't
fucking
remember.
Horoscope thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Your sign there.
Yeah. So your sign, like they have. I think all it said was they have higher levels of dooms or whatever, which that didn't explain it yet.
All right.
Whatever
so we'll
it was,
get back to dooms.
Yeah, it didn't explain it.
BTs are pretty much dead people's ghosts.
Yeah, which are the primary enemies in the game, basically.
Stuck in the world since the Death Stranding, which merged the worlds of the living and the dead.
Right.
Which exist parallel to each other according to some sort of like ancient Egyptian cosmology, apparently. A BB. What about a BB?
BB is... I don't know if that's a universal term for... I think it's the universal term for the baby in the thing, the satchel that you attach to. Yeah. I don't think it's specific to You're
No,
BB,
but it's just
right?
become the
That's-
name of your.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So BB is the baby that
I
you
literally
strap onto
like
your
sometimes I'm like, this is ridiculous. Like there's one part where Norman Reedus says, "So there's no way to save my BB."
chest. You're just like,
And I'm
yeah,
like-
what? Like I think because even listening to
the hell
yourself
is
is
going
like,
It's surreal. But that texture though. You understand what I'm trying to say?
it takes
Like that
itself
feeling.
so seriously.
Yeah, but it feels like there's like a magic to it, you know? It like is enchanting in a way. Like it feels like doing a hallucinogenic drug. You're just like, something's weird. Like
yeah.
something's strange
What am I
right now.
looking at? They definitely like amplified the fucked upness from like a Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah. Oh fuck yeah. But anyways, yeah. BB. What the fuck? A BB is a
BB.
bridge baby, which is a baby whose mother is brain dead and is itself not born yet, and they're stuck in the time Del Toro character says, dead man there,
Yeah.
of the moment where they fucking didn't die, and then they're put in a pod to help you see dead stuff.
Yeah. I couldn't even pretend to understand or explain
Yes.
the meaning of any of it.
He
Like
says
how,
that
what the-
because their mother is brain dead,
right
the baby
is like,
is like dead almost,
and you connect
and you
to
can
it
almost see
to sort of
yeah.
bridge the gap between
Yeah.
the living world that you're in and the world of the dead, right?
That's
Yeah.
the idea. That's some strange shit. Yeah. Then there's void outs, which apparently after the Death Stranding, everybody who dies fucking explodes.
Explodes,
and
yeah.
kills everybody, and then those guys explode.
Yeah.
So that's
a void out, right?
inconvenient.
Yeah,
to
that's
say
pretty
the least.
inconvenient. They have to burn every body
Yeah.
that dies like shortly
Before
after,
necrosis.
right? Like
Yeah.
within like half an hour, an hour.
Yeah. Within
Just
48 hours,
explode.
they said.
48 hours, yeah.
Yeah. So a spoiler, I guess, and a strange thing. It's like watching The Shining or like fucking 2001: A Space Odyssey or like some shit like that. You know, there's like a weird feeling in the air. Like there's that, you know, you find out that you're the president's son, and then you have to carry your mother's corpse up a mountain to be burned,
Yeah.
and you're like,
What?
what the fuck is going on? This is just the constant sensation of just being like stranged out, you know, if that could be used as a verb.
Yeah, it gets even weirder real quick,
Yeah.
right?
And then there's Kyrium and chiral dust and chiral as an adjective, which
Is that the black shit?
it's
Black
the
stuff?
dust that somehow is also the black shit, I guess. There's like chiral density. They use that as a word. So, you know,
Sure.
there's timefall 'cause somehow the rain makes shit old.
Yeah, timefall is rain that turns you old
So-
and destroys your containers.
Yeah. I guess the reason Norman Reedus fucking only eats slugs is because that must make growing anything else pretty fucking inconvenient.
Yeah, right?
How do you drink water? I guess normal water is not.
Maybe that's why they.
How do you
just have
fucking
Monster.
filter out the timefall? Oh, it's probably because the chiral particles in the water. 100%. That's why he says that they have to go burn the president up a mountain. Because the smoke from her body will pollute the fucking city.
Yeah,
One
yeah.
body apparently is bad enough, so yeah. That's balls. Yeah. I just
I don't like. I want to see like the initial like concepts of all of these ideas and all these
Yeah.
terms and everything. Like him being like presenting it to somebody and like trying to explain it and like people,
yeah.
especially like developers who have to turn this into a fucking reality. Right?
Yeah.
And they're just like, okay, so we're gonna do what? And
They're
it's
probably
like,
stressed out. They're probably like,
like oh
good thing
man.
he wrote it himself, because imagine presenting that to a team of writers.
Yeah.
They have to
They're
make
like,
people say these things
I have no
themselves.
idea.
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you, Hideo.
Yeah. That's why the writing has a candor to it. It's like Ricky writing a video game. Sometimes it feels like, you know?
Yeah.
Like the words are so like, or like, do you watch The Office?
Yeah.
You know Michael Scott makes that video? He makes the movie called Michael Scarn
I
or
don't
whatever.
think I've ever seen that one.
He like makes a movie about himself essentially as an action hero. And like the writing here sometimes feels like that.
Like that?
Yeah. Or like, you know, something that somebody in Step Brothers would come up with. And it's like, I think by design, like to evoke that exact feeling I was describing to you moments ago, like there's this strangeness to it that like, you know, when people don't understand they're doing it is a sign of stupidity. But when you build a world out of it, like a lexicon, like in that mode, that like fucking estranged mode where
Yeah.
you're like, what the fuck are you talking about? You know, it's out of place in the real world, but as a world, to make you feel that way. That's a good thing, you know?
Seems like everything's just out of fucking.
It has like
Totally
its
out of
own
sorts.
inner consistency, though. Like everything is the way it is, even down to the Monster Energy drink, which you carry around in a fucking
In a
flask.
canteen, yeah. That refills.
So that's
by
all
itself.
right. Yeah, that's all right. Like an Estes flask of Monster Energy drink.
Did you ever notice when you can take a piss in the game, when you turn around and take a piss or whatever, there's like a little mushroom that grows out of that.
Out of what?
Your piss. Where you pee, like a little cloud or a little mushroom thing comes out of the ground, and it has your name above it, like an object in the world where you encounter. Like I think you can encounter other people's little pisses that form.
Oh,
like,
I see.
You can like see where other players have pissed in the world.
Why?
I don't know. I was asking you.
I have not encountered that feature yet, but I'm excited to, I guess.
Yeah, every once in a while I turn around and take a piss.
Yeah. I just
You
picture
can, so why
Kojima
not?
like in front of a room full of people being like, all right,
Yeah,
guys,
like I want to see that.
this is what we're going to do.
Yeah, this is it. Like,
They're like,
What?
okay,
are you sure?
I guess so. I mean, I guess. And they call Sony behind his back, and they're like, man, you know what he's telling us to do?
Like, you gotta send somebody down here. This is fucking. They're
like,
you
no.
gotta talk to him.
No.
No.
It's out of our hands.
Just let him do his thing.
Yeah.
Is it technically possible? Technically, we can do it. Good, then do it. I don't think we should. Good, do it.
I think it speaks to like the celebrity of the man's name that like
Yeah.
they can literally tell you nothing about their product, you know, for that long in advance. And
I
like,
can't think of any game that has had this much mystery like surrounding it up until. I mean, I also stayed away from a lot of, media before the game came out, but pretty much up until the embargo, no one really knew how it played out, like what the loop was, what the gameplay was like, I don't think anybody knew.
anything about it at all, right? Just that
You
it
can't
had,
get away with that nowadays. I mean,
I really like
Mr.
that
Kojima.
that like sense though. Like I keep referring to this, but like you're watching the opening scene of Prometheus, just like fucking cloudy skies and like these rocky, like sparsely vegetated. Is vegetated a verb?
I think so. I don't know.
Sparsely.
You probably would know better than me. I'm stupid.
It's like just rocky plains with sparse vegetation. You know, you're just like alone there, and there's like wind
Yeah.
and fucking the elements like working against you in the supernatural sense here, but nonetheless the feeling is the same. You're like on the frontier. You're like,
Yeah.
yeah, that like form, you know, is beautiful. I like participating in that very much. Yeah, makes you want to go walk in a mountain somewhere.
Right.
Yeah,
With a backpack
and listen to like Icelandic techno or some shit.
Yeah,
you know?
I thought the music was so weird.
Yeah.
Like,
Even that, there's like this fucking. This is like, man, shamelessly like draws on pop culture. You know?
it's like happy music. It's like
Yeah.
kind of, but it's kind of like mellow,
Yeah.
mellowy. Fucking. I don't
But I
know,
like
it's
how
like
it
some
plays
listen
like
stuff
during
that.
cathartic moments and not during like points of tension most of the
Yeah.
time, you know? I don't know, is there I can't remember if there's music during points of tension, is there? Like during the combat encounters?
There is some like music that plays, I think, during the BTs, but it's like, it's not like music like a song, like while you're
It's like
traversing,
wailing and
but
fucking
yeah, it's
chords
just like
and
creepy
shit.
music and shit, right? But when you're sort of just out on the adventure and walking in a big vast place and there's no enemies, plays that like happy sort of hippie melodrama. I don't even know what to call it. I don't listen to music like that, so
Yeah.
but it's funny, right? It's
Mhm.
I guess it fits what you're doing.
It does. It's beautiful,
You
yeah.
know, the sci-fi epic.
Yeah.
Could you call this a sci-fi epic?
You definitely would.
You can, right?
It is a sci-fi epic, yes. There's this guy Gene Wolfe I always refer to who I like a lot. Like,
Yeah.
he had something of a magnum opus at some stage in his career, and like afterwards he wrote some pretty impressive shit. But I think everything was always measured against that, you know. And I bet you in
course.
10 years, how old is Kojima's? Almost 60 years old.
He's
Man.
he's been around, man.
Probably like
He's
everything
been in
else
the
he
industry.
makes for the rest of his life is going to be measured against this
against
game. Yeah,
this game.
I think so. Yeah.
That's possible. I mean, yeah, because it's his first title under his studio. Like,
And I think a lot of things in the industry, you know, if anybody aspires to be that kind of video game maker, they're going to look to this as an example too. Yeah.
yeah, it's possible.
Yeah. For exactly the same reason that some people would not like it. It's undemocratic, like, method of being developed, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Probably is odious to some people's palates, but like,
Oh yeah, for sure.
I think that's the way she should go. What
Yeah,
else can be
it's,
said?
It's fucked up that.
It's like Miyazaki too. That's the way she goes. right?
Yeah.
The West doesn't really have those kind of like individual personalities in charge of a video
really
game.
think of
Like
any.
you
The
have like
recent ones
people
like Cory Barlog.
I guess, but I didn't
But,
write
like-
his own game, did he? Did he write it? I could be mistaken. I don't want to.
You know what? I don't know.
I have
then.
a strong
I don't
suspicion,
wanna
though, that
say,
he did not, right? Like, you have people like Amy Hennig, who did write her, you know, she
not
thought of
like-
Soul Reaver, or the Legacy of Kain series as her magnum opus, but I'm sure she was not, like, you know, she didn't have the creative liberties that Konami, or that
Or
Kojima possesses
Kojima
in this
well,
case.
definitely not if it's his own studio. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so it's very rare
know,
for this
yeah,
kind of thing to
it's-
happen. Even Miyazaki doesn't have his own studio, right? He has to have his shit greenlit by somebody, you know?
Yeah.
He's like the vice president or something like that, I think. Perhaps the president of From Software, but they're a publicly traded company too.
Maybe Kojima is just one of a kind in that sense.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could think of even a lot of people that sort of fall under that category.
Not even necessarily to speak to any of his credentials, just to say like he's in a very unique position to
Yeah.
make something. And, you know, this kind of thing is not made often. I think that's...
Unless
Not even
this
that-
game fails and his studio shuts down, he'll be back with something for
yeah,
sure.
that's not going to happen.
I don't think so
He's
either.
going to just base... His success is based on his name, man. Now, you know?
Yeah.
After his proven himself, like... Stu's gonna get shut down. You think nobody else is gonna? He's gonna be out on the street. Like anybody would pay Kojima to be on their team, man.
Probably.
You know,
Yeah.
another thing that Kotaku review said. I can't believe I. But you know, that guy wrote a good piece, man. Good for him. It was about how this is like it's almost like a novel. You know, even in the time it takes to consume it, it's like a novel. The amount
Yeah.
of writing in it is probably similar to a novel. Like
Yeah, there's tons of cutscenes. That's pure Kojima, though.
Yeah.
Tons of cutscenes, lots of dialogue.
yeah.
You know.
And like I definitely tend towards appreciating games that don't have much in the way of like cinematic storytelling, you know, like Souls like storytelling instead, because it's appropriate to the game
Right.
medium. But like this is a different kind of genre, I guess, or different kind of genre is the wrong word. No, perhaps genre is the right word. Like this presentation, this like mode of presenting a video game is I like this too. I don't
Yeah,
know what
like I
else
would
to
say it
It's
still
sick.
kind of evokes how you explain Miyazaki and then the Dark Souls games and the Bloodborne and whatever, sort of like
Seems like the
using
antithesis of that in storytelling capacity, but like good in its own
but
right for
it
that
still
reason.
yeah, it still evokes like what it's
Yeah.
trying to do is suited for the medium of
It
video
literally
games,
shows
right?
that you can
like,
do the exact opposite of
Yeah,
Dark Souls
and still-
be sick.
yeah.
Yeah. There's so much room for awesomeness in video games.
It really is. There's
the
unlimited
kind of
fucking
form you want to
possibilities.
exhibit. Yeah, there's so much cool
I
stuff.
mean, you know,
Yeah, it's
financially,
yeah.
as long as you're financially.
We really do live in a
Good to go.
golden age of video games, buddy.
I would say there's
We were
there's
talking before about how 2019 was the best year ever for video games, and I
I
stand
think
by
so.
that still.
I think one of the in
Yeah.
the recent years, I think 2019 will stand out.
Yeah. Now all we have left to see is if the Jedi game and fucking Pokemon are good.
Jedi Fallen Order and
Yeah.
Pokemon, please, Pokemon.
Can you imagine
oh my
we got
God.
a Kojima game, a Star Wars game, a Pokemon game, a Miyazaki game on the same year? Good
I
shit.
still can't. And the
DMC,
the
Resident
Miyazaki
Evil
game was
yeah.
published by Activision.
Yeah,
What?
too weird.
We're never gonna get over that, eh?
Yeah, weird.
I know I won't. Fuck.
Cool time to be alive.
Right?
Cool time.
2019.
Opportune year to start this project we're working on too.
Yeah, banging fucking year for video games, man. I haven't been this fucking happy in a while. We talked about how it was like fucking nervous the way the industry was going for a while. I felt like it was going downhill.
I get this sick feeling when I wake up on the day of a major game release, like it's
Yeah,
Christmas
right?
when I was a
Yeah.
child. You know, I get less excited on actual holidays nowadays. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
like that childlike sensation of being like, yeah,
Yes, new Pokemon. Oh my God, next Friday.
yes,
Can't wait. Fuck Dexit. I don't give a shit.
yep,
Bunch of whiny babies crying about Dexit.
yeah. I'm not even gonna pretend to know what that word means. Ah, shit. I wish. I mean the opposite of what I just
Yeah,
said.
you do know what it means. It's just,
I'm gonna pretend I don't know what that
there
word
you
means.
go. We're just gonna erase it from our memory. Let's not promote it or talk about it. Hopefully Pokemon Sword and Shield is good, and I'll be a happy dude. And Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, oh boy.
It'll sell gangbusters.
I forgot what we were saying.
Something about the BBs or some shit. No. Oh, about how he is uniquely positioned in the industry to make stuff.
Oh.
Few people have the same opportunities, so that's great. Good to see what he comes up with.
Yeah.
I don't know what his beliefs are or what kinds of things he has to say, and I don't really care, frankly.
I would love to see where he goes next. Oh, we were talking about 2019 and shit.
Oh yeah, the best year ever. Video games.
The best year. I wouldn't say ever. I'd say in recent years. Like, okay, maybe in the last...
In video games, hard bracket. Elsewise,
yeah.
I don't even want to start.
No, but I mean in video games, I think maybe like if we look at maybe in like the last 10 years.
Ever, probably.
You think ever?
I think
like
all
it's
of the,
that
I think all of
good?
the best games I think a lot of the best games ever were in the past 10 years, though.
Well, I mean, I guess, yeah. Okay, it's fair to say, yeah.
Video games is one way where the world is getting better.
Hopefully.
I think so. Although it also has a
dark side,
dirty underbelly for that reason. But what does that mean?
The good shit can still shine through for us, and
that's like faulting
appreciate it.
Faulting books because there's also pornography, though. Like, I don't mean.
That's true. Really thought of it that way.
What does that mean about video games? You know?
Yeah.
Nothing really.
At the end of the day, we pretty much just avoid the shit we don't care for or think is shit.
We're not really objective journalists, are we?
Yeah, we just focus on what we like. But that's the beauty.
Life's short. I don't fucking have time to talk about things I hate.
I guess that's probably all I have in the tank about
Same, buddy.
The early impressions of Death Stranding and our thoughts on Hideo Kojima, the man himself.
Thoughts on Hideo.
Yeah, we sort of we have an article on the site that details more of the gameplay. We didn't really speak much about it, but
yes, we have an article about the loop, about the critical attitude towards the metaphors and our thoughts on that subject. It's more fun too to just let it pass and enjoy it.
Yeah,
like a breeze, you know. You're like, when you start grasping at things, it makes it laborious.
Too much. Yeah.
This approach now is nice. Writing generalities is nice, you know. Even doing full reviews for a game like this, I don't even know if I'm.
If you could, we don't have to at the end of the day. We do our
probably just put all the shit together into a review.
Right basically, right? Yeah. Hopefully, we can get more time into it and sort of at least get close to the end or finish it, because I really want to play Pokemon when that comes out, and we also have that Star Wars game dropping. Big fucking month in November. We got to pull up our pants.
Big month is, I got to finish
work.
this game this weekend for sure.
Yeah, right.
Maybe I'll take Sunday off and just smash that.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it though, so that's good.
Me too.
Yeah, check out our website for that.
Check it out for our thoughts on the game so far and a couple of different aspects. Thank you for tuning in. Come by to drink a Mara peanut stout with me here at Green Dragon CVR.
I mean, unless you like peanuts or peanut butter.
Yeah. Don't do it. Drink something else instead.
Yeah. Like a cherry cider that tastes like an apple cider.
Maybe not that.
Yeah.
If you don't like peanut stout, you could probably drink a different kind of stout. You could probably drink a lager. We have many lagers. Many beers and sours and ciders. IPAs.
And video games.
Yeah, lots of those too now, yeah.
Yeah.
Got limited run games too, a bunch of new shit. Transistor specifically for
nice.
Switch and PS4. It's pretty cool.
Cool stuff, man.
That's good shit.
If you made it this far, thank you very much for listening.
Have a good evening.